Hi, welcome back to the 12 Days of Giftness. We're up to day 3 so far, and today 3 is all about still, quiet, calm, and clean. What are we talking about today? We're talking about breathing, we're talking about mindfulness, we're talking about meditation. Then I have a little activity for you to do if you wish to partake in it. We start every day with a quote, and today's quote just happens to be, "Your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds." And I thought that was really beautiful to attach to today's theme. So let's talk about breathing for a moment. Something that we all take for granted, something that kind of guarantees that we're still alive. The minute that you stop breathing, you'll know about it, or other people around you will anyway. How often do we stop and actually observe what is happening in our body automatically? Some people spend a lot of their days sitting. They might be at a computer, at a desk, sort of hunched over doing work. When we're in this position, we rarely breathe into the bottoms of our lungs. If we think about the structure of our lungs for a moment, there are upper lobes and then there are the lower lobes. So the lower lobes, if we're sitting at a desk or at a computer, sort of hunched over all day, they rarely get the opportunity to fully expand. This is one of the reasons that we like to sit nice and upright, is so that it opens our chest, so that our lungs can fully expand. Side note from working in the hospital is many, especially elderly people who are in bed for various reasons because they're unwell sitting in a hospital room, will develop pneumonia because they're sitting in bed all day and they're unable to fully expand their chest, fully expand their lungs. And so because the bases of their lungs are not getting that vital oxygen into them, this is a really good breeding ground for little bugs and bacteria to get in and wreak their havoc. And then before you know it, Nana or Granddad has pneumonia. And it happens way more often than we would care to think about. So if we are mindful and if we do bring our attention to our breath, make sure that we're expanding the whole of our lungs, give and take. It's so important, it's so vital for keeping us alive. It's really funny because we talk about breathing so sort of nonchalantly, so haphazardly, and I don't think we actually stop to give what we're saying a second thought. When we're in pain, we're told to breathe through it. When we're anxious, we're told take nice deep breaths to calm ourselves. When we overexert ourselves, we're told to just take some time to get our breath back. How often do we actually sit and think about what we're saying and then actually observe our breathing? We all know about it when we can't breathe, when we're short of breath. If we, say, get a cold or a flu and we get a chesty cough, a bit of asthma, or a bit puffed if we run too fast, you definitely know about it when you can't breathe properly, but we never really stop to acknowledge the general day-to-day working of our lungs and give gratitude and thanks to our body for working the way that it should. There are many breathing techniques that you can use if you wish to just be a little bit mindful of your breath, or if you want to just take a moment to sit and do a little breathing exercise. One that's really common and really popular and is so easy is called the box or the square breathing method. I'll link a PDF that I've made with a wee diagram of box breathing. It's really, really simple to follow. So if you want a copy of that, feel free to download it after this video. So how box breathing works, or square breathing, is we breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds. We hold it for 4 seconds. We breathe out through our mouth for 4 seconds. And we just pause or hold at the bottom for 4 seconds. And you repeat this cycle over and over. And you can do this as many times as you like as a mindful activity throughout the day. This can also be really useful when someone is a little anxious, someone's a little stressed, you're trying to calm someone, just to bring that focus and that attention to the breath. Another technique that you could utilize is sitting cross-legged on the floor or a chair, sitting nice and tall and upright, your shoulders back, one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And you want to breathe in through your nose. And as you're breathing in, you want to feel your belly rise, your ribs expand, and your chest fill. And then when you're breathing out, you want your chest to fall, your ribs to contract, and your belly to go down. And then you just repeat that cycle, and you can say over again out loud or in your head, whatever's easiest, as you're breathing in, belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. Belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. And you can go through that sequence and it just brings your attention to where your breath is flowing and which parts of you are feeling at that time. One breathing activity that I do in bed on occasion when I sometimes find my mind wandering. I know I've got to get up early in the morning, but my mind's a little chaotic. I haven't quite slowed down enough before going to bed, so I'm lying there with my mind racing. And what I'll do is I will breathe in as deep as I can for as long as I can, and I'm very conscious that my ribs are really expanding to their full extent. And when I have breathed in as much as I can, I just hold it for as long as I can, and then I slowly let it out my mouth. And once that whole breath is gone, I'll repeat the process. And I was just thinking about it, I don't think I've gone through the whole process, probably more than about 3 or 4 times before the next thing I knew, it was morning and I was waking up. So if you give this a go, let me know how you go. Does it work for you? Let's turn our attention to mindfulness. I think this word gets thrown around a lot, but a lot of people are like, what does it actually mean? My understanding of what mindfulness is just honing in on something and being just fully tuned in and fully aware of that thing at the time, so that your mind isn't scrambling and thinking about shopping lists and thinking about what you've got to do tomorrow and thinking about picking the kids up. You're just literally focused on one thing, which quietens the rest of the mind down just for that moment. One really awesome mindfulness technique that I enjoy using, and I use it quite a lot, is to just focus on the 5 senses. So for a moment, just focus on what you can see. What am I taking in visually? Then move to what you're hearing. What are the noises that are going on in the background? Who's talking? Are there planes going overhead? And it's really interesting because when you do hone into a single sense or a single moment, all the other stuff just fades into the background. So when you draw your attention from what you can see to what you can hear, when you're listening for things, the visual, which you were just focusing on, kind of just fades into the background because you go, ooh, what's happening in my ears right now? Turn your attention to what you can smell. Ooh, there's a little bit of coffee that we brewed this morning. Oh, there's some fresh flowers over in that garden. Then turn your attention to what you can taste. You may have just had something to eat, you may have had a coffee, you may have just brushed your teeth. Just kind of take a moment to, what's going on in there? What can I taste? And what's really helpful as well is to run your tongue just kind of over your teeth. You can notice how wet your mouth is, how much saliva there is. The more saliva that you produce indicates the level of relaxation. So when you're highly strung, highly stressed, typically our mouth becomes quite dry. And to kind of tune into how relaxed you are, take notice of how much saliva there is in your mouth. And the final sense to be aware of is, what can we feel? Right now I can feel the chair underneath me. If you're outside, you might be able to feel wind in your hair, you might be able to feel sun on your face. But just being really mindful and being really aware of what our body is sensing, that we're not even conscious of most of the time, but we're still taking in all of this input, all of this stimulus into our body to be processed. And we take all of this information in without even thinking about it. So a really great way just to kind of center ourselves and focus and just tune out all the noise is to focus on one thing. And it's a really beautiful exercise. You can do it every day. Just give yourself a little bit of a restart, a little bit of a reset. Another mindfulness technique is just stopping for 5 seconds and looking around and saying, where can I see beauty? Even if you're in a train station, even if you're in a mall, even if you're in your workplace, maybe at your desk, is there a plant beside you? Do you have a view overlooking a nice park or a river? Can you notice someone wearing a beautiful hat or a beautiful dress? If you're on a walk, this is a really great time to just take in your surroundings. So we quite often walk around the river, and sometimes I just sort of stop and go, wow, I'm just noticing how beautiful the sun looks reflecting on the river, or observing the changes in the trees in the different seasons and going, wow, the colors of the autumn leaves are really beautiful today. And just taking little moments in your day to find something that's beautiful can just kind of make you feel a bit better, make you go, oh, I like that. Finding something good in your day can only bring good things. Let's talk about meditation. Meditation is something that can be quite polarizing. People kind of go, oh God, I don't have time to meditate, or meditating's all for airy-fairy monks and people that live in caves. That might be true, but it's also for regular people as well. And there's a saying that says, if you have time to meditate, meditate for 20 minutes. If you think you don't have time to meditate, go and meditate for an hour. It just kind of shows that if your life is so crazy, so hectic, so chaotic that you don't have time to stop for 20 minutes, maybe your life is a little bit too busy, and maybe it needs to just be trimmed back a little bit so you do have a bit more time to breathe. So there are many types of meditation. There are guided meditations, there are meditations where you just sit by yourself, there are ones where you sit with a mantra, there are meditations that incorporate working from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes and going through every single sort of organ and part of your body to relax it and bring light and energy and healing and things like that to it. My advice is to find something that works for you. There are a lot of people that say, I can't meditate because I can't quiet my mind. In my experience, meditation isn't about quieting your mind. Meditation is about observation. The one meditation style that I go back to over and over and over again because I just love it. It just feels amazing. It feels delicious. It feels like it just really energizes and revitalizes and just resets me for the day. It's a style of meditation called Vedic meditation. And there was an app that I used to learn how to meditate, and it is really easy. It's really beautiful. And the app is called One Giant Mind, and it is completely free to use. So if you do want to learn a beautiful technique for how to meditate, I really highly recommend the One Giant Mind app. Initially, when you sign up, it takes you through 12 days and sort of adds a layer to your meditation every day. It has a frequently asked questions list. So if you're experiencing something in your meditation and you're thinking, should I be experiencing this? It will guide you through potentially what to expect and what not to expect. The beautiful thing about Vedic meditation that is taught on the One Giant Mind app is that it does not teach you that you have to quieten your mind. It lets you observe your thoughts. You sit with your thoughts. When you sit and a thought comes, a lot of people would panic and think, I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts. I need to get rid of these thoughts. And that is quite stressful on your system, because then you're thinking, I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts, and you're winding yourself up. But in Vedic meditation, it teaches it's okay to have thoughts. You sit and you go, oh, I'm currently aware of this thought. I'm just going to observe it, and then I'm just going to let it go. For anyone that enjoys guided meditations or would like to listen to a guided meditation to see what they're like, I've actually made one for you, so I will attach that video to the program today. Breathing techniques, mindfulness, and meditation can just help close down some of those tabs in our mind. You know, sometimes when you are using your phone or your computer and you've got so many tabs open and it's just literally chaos on your screen, it sometimes feels like that in our mind. There are so many tabs open, so many to-do lists on the go, that it just feels a little bit hectic and there is no focus. So doing breathing techniques, mindfulness activities, and meditation can really help just quieten the mind, close down some of those tabs, and free up some mental bandwidth. So you've got a little bit more space to just breathe and think a little more easily. So today's challenge, I know you all love a challenge, is to declutter. Sometimes when there's a lot of chaos going on in your house or in your living space or your office space, that mess can kind of indicate what's going on inside, internally. Having a really good clean up, a really good tidy up, a really good spring clean can just help us focus ourselves and calm ourselves and really enjoy the space that we live in or that we work in. So find a room in the house, a cupboard, a drawer, a wardrobe, somewhere that's just a little bit chaotic. It could be your whole house, it could be a room, it could be a single drawer. Choose something that feels manageable for you and take a before and after shot of the chaos before and the nice tidy area afterwards. So for some people, they will absolutely love this challenge. Others will be like, no, too hard basket, too hard basket. That is fine. Just do your best, do what you feel like. Get a friend or family member to help you. Turn on some crazy music, have a little bit of a dance party. As always, have a little bit of fun with it. Thank you so much for coming back and being part of day 3. I hope you've taken value from it. Most of us are just trying to live a still, quiet, calm life. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 4.